Welcome back to Bloom and Rage. Let's talk about writing. The 1995 scene that we're about to see is extremely well written. It is written in a way you don't see very much for video games, and I think it's well worth discussing all the details from the largest to the smallest. So let's start with the largest to the smallest. So there are three basic ways things can happen in stories. The first is unmotivated. You need it to happen, so you write that it happens. This is the ninjas attack doctrine. You need ninjas to attack, so you write that ninjas attacked. It really doesn't have anything to do with the character. How it progresses can certainly influence the story and define who the character is, but it doesn't happen because the character did something. You just needed ninjas to attack. This is, in my opinion, the weakest way to write, and it is very, very rare in this game, and in fact in any game where Nina Freeman is at the wheel. The second method is motivated. This is when something, usually a character, expresses one of its core traits, and that leads to the rest of the scene happening. This makes the character an active participant in the scene. It turns them into an active character rather than a reactive character. This is an excellent example of that. In order to get into this scene and, be part of our little group, we have to overcome our shyness and knock on the door. Even past that, we have to physically open the door when they don't respond. And you note that it happens 3 times. We knock again, and then we push through. So that is an expression of ourself. We are a shy person, and because of that, we have to push through. It adds texture to the scene. By overcoming our shyness, we have entered into this new world of having friends. Amazing. It's a motivated event. Similarly, if we were to talk about the previous scene, we go to return our movie palace movie, and then we pull out our camcorder, we start filming, and that leads us to discover the Uber Scooper. Okay, that leads to the rest of the scene. So it's a motivated event because we use our camcorder, which is a core part of our personality, a core part of our characterization, to discover the Uber Scooper. Now, logically speaking, the Uber Scooper was there the whole time. We could have just looked over and seen it. The camcorder does not actually make us interact with the Uber Scooper in any sort of unusual way, right? Except it does, emotionally speaking. Because we discovered it through the camcorder, we are emotionally connected to the rest of the scene. We are now an active member of the scene. Even though there's no, plot-relevant, real reason why these things are connected logically, there is an emotional logic. The third reason things can happen in a story is if it's a set-piece scene, where something is being forced to happen by the very structure of the scene itself. A good example of that is this. We're in band practice town, and that means millions of band practice-related things can happen, and it makes perfect sense. Similarly, if our parents did come down and interrupt us, that would make sense, because the scene is structured such that we kind of expect those kinds of things to happen. Now, this stuff doesn't naturally come with any kind of emotional charge to it. While it does flow well, it's not emotionally powerful on its own. So what you do is you use it as a way to blend with our own motivated actions, the motivated actions of specific characters. We're here at band practice, and we are filming band practice, whereas Kat is listening to band practice because she's the music nerd, and those two up there, they're performing band practice, and everybody has their own character traits that they use to interact with the concept of band practice and the things that band practice causes to have happen. This is even more powerful once we realize we can form chords where several characters interact not just with their own motivations and the scene's motivations, but with each other's motivations.
You're flat on B, Nor. Yeah, well, maybe I'm punk and I want to be flat. Okay, enough screwing around. Let's play already.
One key to all of this is we have to know how the characters are likely to express themselves. What sort of things do they do that matter to them, that make them unique? And this is sometimes a matter of, blunt force. I like filming stuff. Here is my camcorder. We're the film girl, right? Obviously, we know what's up. And if we pull out that camcorder later, well, it's going to feel motivated. But There are also a lot of things you can do to add more nuanced motivations, more gentle motivations. We can express the sorts of things that people would like to do and can't. We can express what they're interested in without being so blunt force. Here's a great example. And another.
So, like, there was this one thing I wish I caught on film because no one ever believes me. No one ever believes me. No one ever believes me. Swan's gonna laugh, I bet.
Of course, all of this comes back around to choosing the right traits to help scenes move forward. It's very important to know how your traits will actually write. For example, our trait of being able to pull out a camcorder literally whenever we want lets us notice things whenever we need to, and also allows us to create a sense of remove as we record things for a future generation, for posterity. Our shyness can be used to either engage or disengage whenever the scene needs us to. Nora's vibrant strangeness allows her to kick the scene up a notch whenever she needs to. Autumn's staid and reserved approach to things allows her to tamp things down whenever she needs to. And of course, Kat, as the main motivator of the entire game, is young and oblivious and very lonely, and so she can just go off the handle whenever she needs to, talking about whatever random stuff she wants and making whatever random volunteering whatever random suggestions she wants, because that helps to move the story forward whenever it needs to be moved forward. It can't be overstated just how critical it is to have your characters have traits that help you to move scenes along. Being able to create motivated events is a core reason that characters exist as characters. That's it.
So, are you guys gonna play or what?